Oh my god, my lips feel so dry. I need some Vaseline. Oh my god, I've just realised you could probably see me in the mirror and I have the weirdest outfit on. Apologies. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming a video of 5 different tips that I have to help with college recruiting and getting over to the US. Now these are things that, like, if I didn't already know, I wish I knew more of, or I wish I knew back then how important some of these things would have been. Without further ado, I guess we'll get into the tips. I do have them written down here too because I don't want to forget nothing, because this is helpful. Okay, so tip number 1. So the first tip that I have is if you're thinking about obviously being recruited, moving over the US, going to college, I would definitely recommend joining a company that knows what they're doing and is specialised in recruiting and going to America, because that has definitely helped me massively in the process. The company that I'm with is SR USA. I will leave contact information in the description box below, because honestly I could not recommend this company enough. So I was recommended through a friend who I used to play with, and she is out there. So I spoke to her when I was starting to think about the whole process and, you know, going over there, and she was the one who recommended them. And honestly, SR USA is amazing. They've helped me so much. The owner of the company, like the founder, he has done it himself before. He's been over there, so he has a lot of knowledge, and he is really invested in like each person's journey and getting them over there. So yeah, having a company that knows what they're doing and helps, like, they put your video out, they speak to coaches, they put you in the right direction. And for me, like, he is always an email away, a text away, a phone call away. Like, if you ever have any issues, I've had a few problems before, like a couple of little things that, like, I've had questions about, or I didn't really know what I was doing, and I will literally message him, and it could be any time in the day, and he will get back to me and respond and always help me out. So yes, this is tip number 1. You should definitely look into joining a company. Okay, tip number 2. So this tip is actually really, really important. Now, I didn't realise how important it would have been, but it makes a huge difference. So the second tip that I have is the quality and the standard and the length of your highlight video. Now, the highlight video is, if you don't already know what it is, basically it's like little snippets of when you play, and then it gets put into one whole big video, and that is what you send to the coaches and link to emails, and that is what goes on YouTube and things like that. That is what coaches look at and makes them want to recruit you. So it is very important. Now, the standard I used to play here at home before America, my local team, you know, we didn't film games, we didn't have photographers, like nothing like that. So I had to use like the showcase days that the company held to get my footage, and so it wasn't very much. I maybe had a couple minutes snippet of a video, and looking back now and being in the position that I'm in now, I definitely realised that the longer the video, not to an extent where it's like 20 minutes long, because a coach is not going to want to watch thousands of videos that are 20 minutes long. They don't have the time for that. But sort of a video that, you know, it's maybe 5-6 minutes long, and the quality shows like the standard you play and how you play, and you basically like you want to showcase each individual thing that you can do to the highest standard that you can do it, if that makes any sense. I don't think I'm explaining this very well, but I think you get the gist. The highlight video is massively important because that is what is going to draw the coaches in without already knowing you and seeing you play. Tip number 3. This one is kind of common knowledge, but not a lot of people will do it. So communication, so staying in contact with the coaches and messaging them a lot and keeping them up to date with where you are and what you're doing, like that's really important. So sometimes, like if you stay out of contact or you don't really message them a lot and find out more information, and if you don't really have many questions to ask them and things like that, then it kind of just draws you away from that coach, and you want to be able to like build up a relationship with the coaches, especially if it's a school that you're wanting to go to. Then building that relationship like before you get there or anything is really important. So like the coach that I was recruited by and went to for the past year, like we were FaceTiming like all the time with questions and things I wanted to know and new things he had to tell me. And so communication is huge. Like you need to be staying on the ball and having FaceTime calls and having questions to ask, because it really does keep your coaches interested, and also it makes it seem like you're interested. Tip number 4. This one is kind of common knowledge again, but I really didn't do a lot of this before I went last year, but now, again, being in this position, I definitely realise I probably should do this more. So tip number 4 is to do your own research. When you're talking to a school, the coaches is gonna try and give you the information that you want to know and the things that is best about the school and best about the place, and you want to make sure that you do your research of like sort of the place as well, so where the school is. You don't really want to be, well, I know personally for me, I didn't want to be going to a school that was in the middle of nowhere, had nothing around, there had to be a lot of traveling to get to like just shops and things like that. Like I wanted to be somewhere that was kind of not necessarily like a city and had like loads of things to do, but I just wanted to be somewhere that like it was easy to get to places and didn't take like half an hour, 30 minutes just to get to the shop to go and get some food, you know. So definitely look at the place and where it is and how far away things are, because that can make a massive impact on your whole journey. Not only do you want to do research of sort of the place that the school is, but you also want to be doing your research on the actual school itself. So like I remember last year I had an offer from a school. I'm not gonna mention the name of it or anything, but I remember I had an offer at the school. I had spoken to the coach and it sounded great. So I then got onto my laptop, you know, started doing some searching, and the first thing that had come up was an incident that had just happened on campus the day before. And that is something that I didn't want to be around or anything. You know, I didn't want to be too close to what I had seen had happened. So that for me was a massive, like, no. Like I didn't, even if the school was wonderful, like the place and what was going on around there was just not something that I wanted to be around. So yeah, definitely do your research of where the school is, what like the school standards are, like what is around the school. Like you need to be knowing all these things before you end up jetting off 4,000 miles away. You know, it's not just a quick trip to get home. Yeah, make sure you do your research. Tip number 5. Now, this one is kind of hard because I am someone who has always said, like, dream big, aim high, you know, set goals, work hard, and smash them. However, as, like, a college athlete, there's obviously... I'll probably explain this in maybe another video if I get any questions. that's also another thing. If you have any questions, please leave comments down below of anything you want to know about. If anybody has questions, please leave them below. So yeah, so this one, obviously there's different leagues, and you have Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, then you have like JUCO, and then you have like NAIA. So there's different kind of standards and different levels. Now, everyone who has seen it on, social media, or like does their research properly, everyone wants to go D1 and be at the big schools and, be playing in these massive stadiums and thousands of people watching, etc., etc., which sounds great, and it is amazing. However, you have to be realistic, and so this is tip number 5, to be realistic. Now, as I mentioned before, I only play like my local team. Like my fitness was not America's college standard fitness. It was just Sunday league fitness. So stuff like that you really have to take into consideration. And so for me, going to a JUCO like NJCAA was the best decision I ever made, because for me, it really suited me to get into the swing of things, understand the process and the journey and like the standard that they play, even at JUCO. Now, don't get me wrong, I haven't played D1, but JUCO is still a really good standard. If you get in with the right team and get with the right club, like, you are still playing a high level of soccer. You're still playing a high level of football. Fitness wise, we still do fitness tests. We still have a solid preseason where we trained like 2-3 times a day. Honestly, like, my advice is to just be realistic with your choices of schools, because you don't want to get to a big school that you've put out the feelers and you've bigged yourself up, and you're this, you're that, you can play this, do that, and then you get there and it's harder than you thought because it's not the same as here, and then it's harder than you thought. You're then not doing as well as you expected. You then don't get playing time. You're then hating sitting on the bench. It just becomes a bit of a cycle that you don't want to be in. And so please be realistic and ask the questions that you need to ask to know what level you are going to fit into, which does also link back to my first tip of joining a company. If you ask these questions with the company, they can tell and they know whereabouts you're going to be able to fit and suit and where is best for you. And so I was definitely guided more by this company to go into more JUCO. Like, I was getting a lot of offers from community colleges because he had seen me play and he personally thought that is where I would fit best, which now I'm very grateful for, because that was the best place for me to go. The standard that I play and the fitness that that was great for me. And now I know also where I want to get to and the standard that I want to be at, so I can put in the work now while I'm home to be able to get me to that place. So they are my 5 tips for college recruiting. Now, there are many more, and there are many things you need to take into consideration, and this video is already longer than I was wanting it to be. However, I do think it's very important, and I did get some questions after my last video, so I kind of hope I've covered them in this one. Please give the video a like, and do comment down below if there is anything else that you guys want to know, or any certain particular videos that you want to see about things over there, because I'll be more than happy to make a video and answer those questions. Please do also subscribe to the channel. It is very much appreciated. And stay safe, guys. I will see you on the next one.